Good afternoon, everybody.
Hey everybody, we're a little early today because we have appointments to go to.
Not sure what
Somehow
happened
that
there.
flashed out on us, but so we won't be here at 3, but y'all can always get back on and look at it then.
Yeah, Kenneth's got a doctor's appointment, and I pick up my grandson on Tuesdays because he has baseball practice, and he's a growing boy, so he thinks he's starving. He comes over here and gets something to eat before he goes to baseball practice.
Yeah.
So we did pick a name for this little gathering on Tuesdays. So you want to tell them what we chose?
It's going to be the Heart of the Clemans.
Yeah, we decided to go with that one. I think I'm gonna have to double check who submitted that one.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give credit to the wrong person or take it away from somebody, but we decided to go with that one just because our whole purpose in starting this was to keep family and friends updated on what's going on with our heart transplant journey. So, of course, there'll be other stuff too, but we just decided that would be a fun name. So, welcome to the Heart of the Clemans.
Yeah.
So,
Today, I think we told y'all last week we'd start with the story of my second heart attack, and there is some humor to it.
there is. Hey, can I say one thing before we start that? Not to interrupt you,
No, it's
sweetheart.
fine.
He's used to it.
Yes, I
We
am.
do not want to make light of heart attacks. We've told y'all Kenneth has had 8, but we also have friends who have lost loved ones to heart attacks or personally had a heart attack. We are in no form or fashion taking away from that or making light of it. Kenneth is very lucky. The symptoms to his heart attacks are completely different than the normal.
Sometimes
I
it
think
is.
one time, the last heart attack was the only time you said that you felt like an elephant was sitting on your chest
No,
and
that's
your
not completely true, but it is different, and it's different for everybody. I mean, there's so many different symptoms of it. You can have pain in your neck. Mine is actually in my jaw. There's the chest. There's pain down the arm.
Yeah, in fact, the first time he had a heart attack, he had just had dental work done.
Yeah.
So
We
that was
thought that's
another
what it
reason
was.
we never thought it was a heart attack. We thought it was maybe an infection from the dental work.
Right. So there are different symptoms for everybody, and like I said, please don't think we're making light of it because, we're just kind of like that grin and bear it thing because that's kind of what we're doing. You can laugh or you can cry, and we choose to laugh.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
But
So,
anyways, going into the story of my second heart attack, we were actually in Midland, and it was about 102 degrees, and we were playing in a softball tournament.
Yeah,
It was a benefit tournament for
Teen Challenge.
And it started off like at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we played the
We'd
first
taken our
game.
fifth
We did.
wheel.
We
Be
took
sure
our
and
fifth
say we'd
wheel.
taken our fifth
So
wheel.
that way we thought we'd just go early that night. The Friday night we stayed. Thought, we'll stay. If the games are going to last late, we'll just come home on Sunday. Well, I played the first game at 9 o'clock, and I was actually playing center field, and there was a couple of fly balls that were hit to center field, and I got to them. By the time I got to them, I couldn't hardly breathe. So we played that game, and we had like an hour break between them, and I just didn't feel right. That eye's just so hot, so I
Still
kept
had not
drinking
said
water.
anything to
I hadn't
me.
said anything. So I said, well, I'll move to second base. That way I won't have to run quite so far. So I moved to second base. Same thing. Pop-up fly goes out to the outfield. I go chasing that pop fly. I get to it, and I can't hardly throw the ball back in. I'm breathing so hard. And my chest kind of hurts a little bit. I'm thinking, man, I am bad out of shape. And
Is it at this point that you told me when
yeah, I did. I told her. I said, I may be having a heart attack, kind of jokingly. Didn't.
Now
Sure.
he's 42 at this point, and his first heart attack had been at 39.
It's been 3 years.
So once again,
Yeah.
we're not thinking it's a heart attack.
So, anyways, so the next game I decided I'll play pitcher. So that's about as good as I can get, as slow as it could go. So I pitched that game, and I get back, and
By this point, I pretty much think he's having a heart attack.
Yeah,
There's
so-
just too many signs.
we load up the fifth wheel.
No, let's go into that just a little bit. On the second game, when he said, I think I might be having a heart attack, even though I didn't think he was, I said, let's go. Let's go on to Lubbock. Let's get it checked. No, we got to finish the game. So
I was in
then,
a tournament. You had to finish the game.
it wasn't a tournament. It was a fundraiser.
Still had to finish the game.
So then the third game, when the signs are becoming a little more obvious, he's obviously struggling a little more, I'm like, let's leave right now, go to Lubbock, find out what's going on. No, it's baseball. Don't I know it's baseball? You can't walk away from a baseball game. And so we're going to finish the game, and then we'll go to Lubbock. So let's just make it clear that by the end of that game, I'm in the stands doing this every 5 seconds. I'm mad. I'm furious.
And you could hear it on the field, by the way.
He's just out there playing the game, struggling, trying to get it done because we take baseball serious. Obviously, he takes playing baseball a little more serious than I do. I was ready to go. And we didn't just load up the fifth wheel. He's struggling at this point, so I'm like, let's just go. We can come back. We can get the fifth wheel. Not coming all the way back to get the fifth wheel. So he loads up, or not loads up, but hooks up, puts the slides in, puts it on the whole 9 yards. I actually never did it myself. He always did it. So he does all of that before we get on the road. Now, when I tell y'all that my husband is stubborn, I'm not kind of saying my husband is stubborn. Guys, he's really, really, really stubborn. So now we're on the road to Lubbock.
Well, we actually do. We get back to Lubbock. I've still got the fifth wheel hooked up. We just pull it in front of the house. Wake up the next morning. I feel a little bit
we
better.
went to bed. It was too late. He didn't want to go to the hospital that late.
2 o'clock in the morning time we get home. So I just decide we're just going to, we'll see how I feel in the morning. The next morning I feel somewhat better. So I ride it out all the rest of the day. And come that Monday, I went to work. And Laurie had actually, this is the time she actually had to go back to Midland that morning.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
She went to Midland. Well, I called my father-in-law because I knew I was...
Poor Daddy. He's in it again.
I wasn't in good shape. And what really made her mad was I had several crews out working because we owned our own business at that time, sandblasting business, and I had like 3 crews at 3 different spots. And I told my father-in-law, I said, I'll tell you what, I'll let you take me to the emergency room, but we got to go check on the crews first so that way I can get them lined out for the next day.
And once again, my dad calls
me. It's got to be done.
Hey, Laurie, hate to do this to you again, but I'm pretty sure Kenneth's having a heart attack. Now, bear in mind that, yes, I did go to Midland, but I tried to go to the hospital at 2 o'clock the night before. I tried to go to the hospital when we woke up that morning. I tried to tell him before I went to Midland, hey, let's go get this checked before I leave. It was no. So here we are later, and now I've left, and I'm getting the phone call again. So what do I have to do? Just like the first one, I have to hightail it back to Lubbock. He doesn't like to make things easy on me.
I like to keep things exciting, okay?
Yeah, that's okay. That's one way to put it.
But anyways, we got in. I was with Dr. Brogan at that time, and he did an angiogram. And it was one of those where they didn't put me quite all the way to sleep. And so I knew that he'd went in, and he came right back out. And I asked him, what's going on? I said, you couldn't have fixed it that quick. And he said, I'll see you in the room. I'm like, okay. So we get back to the room, and he comes in.
Have I gotten there by this point?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
We were there by then.
I drove really fast.
We get in, he says, your widowmaker's 99% blocked. And we told him the story of where I was, and he told me, he said, you shouldn't have lived. He said, I don't know why you're alive.
He told us it was a miracle that Kenneth walked off that baseball field.
So the next morning, about 5 o'clock in the morning, I was prepped and having quadruple bypass. That was my first bypass surgery. And that was pretty scary.
So when he says that was my first bypass surgery, it was, y'all can see, it's a wonder we're still married.
She loves me.
It was such an ordeal. It wasn't just we went to the hospital. No, we had to finish a baseball game. We had to load a fifth wheel. We had to argue about it all night long going to the hospital. I had to make a mad dash back to Lubbock from Midland. This man never makes anything simple. And we're laughing about it now. Now it's a story we tell and we laugh but at the time, it was not funny. It was not funny at all.
It wasn't.
And it was
not after the.
It wasn't. He should have. He should not have walked off that baseball field. Kenneth has been the topic of a couple of sermons from two different preachers. And in fact, during COVID, we were sitting in our living room watching our friend Zach Randall's
Watergate out of Washington, D.C.
in Washington. And because it's COVID and because, at that point, Kenneth didn't need to be around a lot of people, we were watching it in our living room. And guess what his topic of conversation was? I mean, you want to talk about laughing? I mean, we're in Texas listening to this preacher who we adore in Washington, and he's talking about Kenneth. I mean, it was awesome. But they've always said that God has some purpose for Kenneth, and Kenneth just hasn't figured it out yet. So I always tell him, well, don't figure it out because because it's working so far. So, but that's just a funny ha-ha.
I do have to say one thing, guys. I am stubborn, but it almost cost me my life.
It did.
If you got those kind of symptoms, get to the hospital.
And it was what would you say that 90 to 95% of you said your chest was tight and you were having trouble breathing, but it was his jaw. His jaw is what started hurting and kind of sent off that bell of this is what happened the first time, but it's in his jaw. In fact, I think I have driven him to with every heart attack, he has insisted I drive him.
Not everyone.
Okay, Daddy drove you twice. You drove once.
I've taken the ambulance 2 or 3 times.
2 times.
Okay,
2 times. And we haven't got to that time. We'll get into that one later. He had a heart attack at a friend's daughter's wedding and made me drive him to the hospital from the far side of town.
I got to tell the funny part about that is we're sitting there and we're at the wedding and I said, honey, I think I may be having a heart attack.
We're taking pictures.
Yeah, we're taking
group pictures with all our friends.
She said, I told her, I said, I think I may be having a heart attack. She goes, you serious? I said, as a heart attack?
Yeah.
It was funny.
Oh my God. See what I deal with? Seriously, see what I deal with.
It was funny.
If any of the Kleman family is watching, I'm expecting my check in the mail here pretty soon, just for putting up with this guy. It's our life.
It is. It's been quite the road.
The good news was that he had that quadruple bypass and obviously came through that. It was, that is quite the surgery.
It'll kick your butt.
The rehab on it is long. Luckily, he's very stubborn, so he was up and moving and trying to get going. But, that really is a serious surgery. I mean, we started off, he slept in a recliner for 2 weeks. At least 2 weeks. And it was get out of the chair, walk to the door, go back, take a nap. Get out of the chair, walk out the front door, go back, take a nap. Get out of the chair, walk to the first line on the sidewalk. And it just progressed. Go to the second line, go to the third line, go to the end of the house. And you just, he had to push himself. So that truly is a major recovery. So when you have those signs, get to the doctor. Do not put it off. Do not load your fifth wheel. Do not finish your baseball game. Do not smile for all the pictures at the wedding because you want to get those done before you tell anybody. Go to the doctor. Get tested. Make sure. If it's not a heart attack, yay, bravo. You get to not worry about it. But it just might be. So, I've heard of other people who say that their back hurt.
Yeah.
That their back hurt when they were.
Their back.
Yeah.
And like I say, everybody's symptoms are different. I mean, there's so many of them out there. I will tell you, sweating profusely, that's one, and I did that every time.
That's true.
And like I say, I mean, I have had the pressure in the chest, uneasy breathing, nausea. That always came with it. Never threw up or anything, but just felt very, very queasy, very dizzy. Yeah. Like I say, everybody's different. But like you say, if you get those signs,
and whatever you do, do not tell your wife that you think you might be having a heart attack, but you really need to get this other stuff done first. Believe me, your wife wants you there more than she wants you to finish the baseball game. Yeah. So, some days. Yeah. Some days is, Anyway, so we are blessed, and we know we're blessed, and we count those blessings every single day. I mean, he has survived these 8 heart attacks, 2 quadruple bypasses, 24 stents, and that does not include getting electrocuted by 69,000 volts of electricity, having a motorcycle wreck and sliding down the street getting gravel that had to be picked out of him, sticking needle nose pliers in his eye. Y'all don't know this, but Kenneth is blind in one
I
eye
don't see how that
because he was. What happened with that? I can't even
I was
remember.
working on the steering wheel pickup, and I put the needle nose pliers to grab, and I looked underneath like this to make sure I grabbed it. When it did, it slipped, and
Every one of y'all just did this, didn't you?
had 7 stitches put into my eyeball. So,
yeah. So he's blind in that eye, and then he's also had a wreck on a dirt road. Trying to pronounce those words correctly, and flipped a work truck. So there's no explanation for why this guy's walking around, but I do thank God that he is. As much of a pain in the butt as he is, he's still mine.
Sometimes.
Most of the time I'm grateful, yes. 99% of the time I'm grateful.
I'm pretty blessed, guys.
So,
no doubt about it.
But there is y'all's update on the second heart attack. It's a journey. We have not heard anything else from the Baylor Scott and White yet.
No.
So right now we're scheduled for, or he is scheduled for an MRI on, is it the 15th or the 17th?
17th.
I have it on my calendar as the 15th. I don't.
No, it's 17th.
Okay, the 17th. And he does have to get an x-ray before that because one of the questions that he had to answer was, have you ever hurt either of your eyes with a piece of metal? We just told y'all that story. So they have to x-ray him before the MRI to make sure that there's no metal still in there.
Right.
So, but we have talked to Dr. Bradley, who is Kenneth's current cardiologist, and we adore that man.
Great cardiologist.
Yes, if you ever need one, him or Dr. Perez, they're amazing.
Absolutely. Or even Suarez.
Suarez, yes. We use Dr. Bradley, but they all office together. So at some stint or another, we have used the other ones. Yeah. So great doctors. They're at Lubbock Cardiology. So cardiologist? Caprock, I'm sorry, Caprock Cardiology.
Yeah.
But yeah, even if you just want to go get checked, I did that a couple of weeks ago. I went and had a stress test done, got the x-rays on my neck, I guess it was called a sonogram on my neck to make sure there was no blockage, just to rule it out so that we know that, we're not dealing with two of us. But we highly recommend them. So, anything else we need to, what time is it? Anything else we need to tell them about today?
Not that I know of.
Just sharing that story?
Yeah.
Okay.
We need to get more, we'll probably get more into the businesses Laurie and I have started, and we're both doing well.
Taking a trip in November.
Possibly another one first week of December. We'll see. We'll see how things pan out and see how they work, but we will keep y'all informed.
I don't know if they can hear you with your hand like that. So short and sweet today, but he's got to get to the doctor, and I need to remember to pick up my grandson. So thank you for joining us today. Sorry if we caught you off guard with it being a different time. We may need to move that just a little bit because I do pick up Kaysen on Tuesdays. So maybe we'll bump that up just a little bit, but I'll let y'all know. Anyway, we appreciate y'all joining us. Right now, I think we're just going with the heart of the Klemans.
There you go.
Sharing our heart with y'all, and our heart story.
Yep.
So thanks for joining us, guys, and look for Kenneth on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and you can catch me on Facebook and Fun Ones on TikTok, but catch us on there. Anyway, that's it for today. Got anything else?
I have nothing else.
All right.
Take care, guys.
Bye, guys. God bless.